What's up guys, Tihus here with a DDD deck profile. Now I got hyped up about DDDs because of their mass import into Dimension of Chaos to later set, and I realised that it'd be a budget OTK combo deck, which is like my three favourite kinds of deck all rolled into one. So I thought I'd give it a whirl and make a deck profile. I actually think it might be able to do quite well this format, even though most of the, well, quite a lot of the support hasn't been imported from the OCG. So first up we got 3 DD Savant Kepler. Kepler is like a Stratos for the deck. When it's normal or special summoned, you can activate one of these effects, you can target one of the DD card you control and return it to the hand, or you can add a Dark Contract card from the deck to the hand. Normally you use the second one. So this card basically starts your combos. You do want to get rid of him on the field as soon as possible though, really, because he is just a damage magnet. He has got 0 attack, and if you're normal summoning him, you're summoning an attack, and it just basically gives your opponent a big target to hit. So you do want to try and get him off the field by using him as a fusion material or an exceed material, but again we'll get over that in a minute. Next up we got the other Savant, Galilei, only one of him. He is a Pendulum again, level 10, 0 attack, 0 defense, and a scale of 1, so those two make a big scale range, but you don't normally pendulum summon the deck. His effect is, during either player's turn you can discard this card and target one DD or Dark Contract card you control, return it to the hand, and you can only use this once per turn. He's not brilliant, he's a very big dead draw. I put him in here to protect my cards from targeting effects. So it's alright sometimes, but it can be a massive dead draw. So that's run 1. Next up we got DDD Rebel King Leonidas. When this card was announced in the OCG, everyone went mental because its effect, when you take effect damage, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from the hand, and if you do gain life points equal to the damage you took, and you take no effect damage while this card's up on the field. So what this meant was DDs had access to a 2600 beat stick that special summons itself whenever the contract cards use their standby phase burn, and it protects you from that burn because the burn is 1000 per standby phase per contract, which is a lot. So I run 3, sometimes a dead draw, but it's quite good. It's also a DDD, and he's used for an OTK, which I'll get onto later. Then we've got DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. He is a level 8 pendulum with 2200 attack and 3000 defense. His pendulum effect is, if you special summon a DD monster, except during the damage step, you can target one DD monster in your graveyard. Any battle damage your opponent takes this turn becomes halved, and you can special summon that, and if you do take 1000 damage, you can only use this effect once per turn. So that helps with swarming, as does its monster effect, which is, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can target one DDD monster in the graveyard, special summon it, you can only use this effect once per turn, and then once per turn you contribute one of the DD monster you control, and then target one monster your opponent controls and banish it. So a wide range of effects. Really good for swarming. It's also useful for making Kali Yuga, which is the big XTs I'll get onto later. And it's also part of the OTK that I mentioned earlier, and it's just a great way to swarm and just get advantage. Then we've got DDD Dragon King Pendragon. Probably the worst DDD that we have at the moment, but we haven't got a lot of DDs, so it's alright. It's, again, level 7, 2600 attack. If this card is in your hand, you contribute one Dragon type and one of the Fiend type monster from your hand or your side of the field, and special this card. You can probably tell already that you don't get that effect off pretty much ever. Once per turn you can discard one card, and you can destroy one spell trap on the field. This attack increase lasts until the end of the turn. Yeah, so pretty useless. Can be a dead draw, often useful for the OTK. I run him because it's another level 7 and a DDD, and it works with a Ragnarok and Swirl Slime. And Swirl Slime is this one. DD Swirl Slime is probably one of the best DDs in the deck. So if this card is in your hand, you can fusion summon one DDD fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand as fusion materials, including this card. Then you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon one DD monster from your hand. You can only use each effect of DD Swirl Slime once per turn. If you have this card, say Leonidas and Ragnarok, it's pretty much an OTK because you can send Swirl Slime Leonidas, make Oracle King Dark, banish Swirl Slime, special summon Ragnarok, and Ragnarok special summon Leonidas or Pendragon, and that gives you a grand total of 7600 damage, 8100 if you use Pendragon's discard and get an attack effect. It's also soft OTK because main phase 2, if you've inflicted like 7600 damage, you can overlay Leonidas and Dark into Flame Metal Dragon, and if they try and activate any effects, then your opponent will be burned to death. So you sort of win off that. 2 DD Necro Slime. If this card is in your graveyard, you can fusion summon one DDD fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing materials listed on it, including this card. You can only use this effect once per turn. Again, a simple effect, but a really good one. Works well because it's good discard fodder for many things, and allow you to make comebacks because this deck really falls to field nukes, and if this card's in the graveyard you can just come back with a fusion monster. Then DD Berthamir. Berthamir is a level 4 fiend with 1400 attack. Once per turn you can target one DD monster you control that has a level except for Berthamir, and declare a level from 1 to 8. It becomes that level until the end of the turn, and you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except DD monsters. So he's there to make Wave King Caesar, because Wave King Caesar is a really good card. He can also be used to make Kali Yuga if you have Ragnarok and, say, Dark, and you normal summon this, you can change the Dark to level 8, and then you can have Kali Yuga. Then we have the row of the deck, Dark Contract with the Gate. During your main phase you can add one DD monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Once per turn during your standard phase take 1000 damage. This is really important to have at 3. This is a combo deck, so you need all the consistency you can get, and Gate gives you a +1 every turn as well while it's in the field, so really important and really good card. And it's searchable with Kepler. Then we have Dark Contract with the Swamp King. During your main phase you can fusion summon one fiend type fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or your side of the field as fusion materials. You can only use this effect once per turn. If you are summoning a DD fusion monster, which probably always will be, you can banish monsters from the graveyard as fusion material instead, and then once per turn during the standard phase take 1000 damage. So it's a polymerization miracle fusion that's continuous and you can use once per turn. So although it's not worthy at 3 because it can be a dead draw sometimes, it's pretty good and used at 2. 1 for 1, send a monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon a level 1 from your hand or deck. Use to search out Kepler, because Kepler is one of the core monsters. You know, Kepler searches a contract, and contracts is basically what you use to win the game. The DD monsters are important obviously, but like contracts are really good and sort of make the difference. If you don't draw a contract, you're normally not going to win. So this improves the consistency. Raigeki for a field nuke. MST only at 1 because Contract with Witch does a similar task, but MST is a bit quicker, so I use 1. Dark Contract with a Witch. You can send one DD or Dark Contract card from your hands to the graveyard, then target one card on the field and destroy it. You can only use this effect once per turn, and all fiend type monsters you control gain 1000 attack during your opponent's turn only. Once per turn during your standby phase take 1000 damage. Really good. It's quick removal, it's searchable by Kepler, it provides attack boost for your monsters in your opponent's turn, so it's a big problem card for your opponent and they have to deal with it. It's quite slow because it's a trap, but it's really good at 2, but it can drain your hand. Dark Contract with Errors. Once per turn, if you control a DD monster you can negate all trap card effects on the field other than this cards for the rest of the turn. Even if this card leaves the field, once per turn during your standby phase take 1000 damage. It's a searchable Royal Decree. That's all you need to say really. Only at 1 though, because a lot of the time you're not against back row decks, but you can side another 1 or 2 copies if you're against a really back row dependent deck. 3 Mind Crush, because a lot of the meta has a lot of searching. Sometimes it can be quite dead though, because as I said before, DDs drain the hand quite quickly and you need a card in your hand to be able to use it. 1 Bottomless, for getting rid of big monsters. Compulse, getting rid of monsters in general. Solemn for negating summons. Vanity's for stopping special summons. Fiendish Chain for effect negation. And then DDD Human Resources. Basically it's like a pot of avarice. So you shuffle 3 cards into the deck, any combination of DD monsters in your hand, field or graveyard, and or put DD cards in your Pendulum Zone, then you can add 2 DD monsters from your deck to your hand. Useful for making a comeback late game, fills your hand with DD monsters. Can be a dead draw early game, but it's usable with Witch because it's a DD card, so you can discard it with Witch if it's going to be dead. Onto the extra deck, we have Kali Yuga, which is a rank 8. It requires 2 level 8 DD monsters. After this card is exceeds summon for the rest of this turn, other cards and effects cannot be activated on the field, and other cards' effects on the field are negated. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach a material, destroy all spell and trap cards on the field, and then during your turn you can detach a material from this card and set a Dark Contract from the graveyard. So it's a quick heavy storm basically, which is obviously really powerful, especially against Pendulum decks, because if they settle the scales you can just nuke it. 2 DD Wave King Caesar. It is a rank 4 that requires 2 level 4 fiend type monsters. During either player's turn you can detach material from this card. At the end of the battle phase, special summon from the graveyard as many monsters destroyed this turn as possible. Then during your next standby phase you take 1000 for each. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, then you can add 1 Dark Contract card from the deck to the hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. This is really powerful. If your opponent has like a Raigeki and you have like a Dark and a Caesar, you can just chain Caesar's effect. You'll get nuked, but if they go into the battle phase, at the end of the battle phase you'll get everything back. So it's good for making comeback plays, and also you get search, so it's really good, and it's a DDD, so you can revive Ragnarok and then tribute with Ragnarok's effect to get a contract set. DDD Marksman Tell. You overlay this onto a Caesar. Once per turn during either player's turn, if you took any effect damage this turn, you can attach one Caesar material from this card, target a monster on the field, it loses 1000 attack and your opponent takes 1000 damage. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can send one DD or Dark Contract card from the deck to the graveyard. You overlay this onto the Caesar, as I say. You can use it as game-ending burn if you need to. You can use it with Ragnarok to set up your graveyard with one of the slimes. It's just really good, and it's also a way of making Caesar into a deck devastation virus target, which I'll explain in a minute when we get onto the side deck. 3 Oracle King Dark. Simple effect. It requires 2 DD monsters. Any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that much life points instead, and it has 2800 attack. Big, simple beat stick. Really good. Turns all of your contracts negative effects into positive ones because you can gain tons of life points. It's just a big beefy beat stick, and it's easy to summon, and it's how you get most of your damage in. In the TCG build anyway. In the OCG build you can have Flame King Genghis, but we don't have that. Then we have DDD Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok. 3200 attack, massive beat stick. Requires 2 DDD monsters, so you can't summon it with Swirl Slime or Necro Slime, you can summon it with Swamp King. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card, you can target one of the DD or Dark Contract cards you control, return it in the hand, and if you do, equip one face-up monster except the monster you're battling to this card, and this card gains attack equal to the original attack of all monsters equipped by this effect. So it's non-targeting effect removal that boosts its attack. It's a really good extra deck boss monster. Pretty hard to summon, like early game, but late game it's quite good because you can summon it with Swamp King by using used up DDDs. 1 Dracosac, because this deck swarms level 7s, so rank 7's pretty good. Master of Blades, another rank 7 which is pretty good. There's a lot of targeting effects going around, so you can, if it's targeted by a card effect, you can detach a material to negate it, and if you do destroy that card, and then you can destroy another card on the field. So Big Eye, one of the better rank 7s, steal your opponent's monsters, beat them down with it. Flare Metal Dragon, 2800 attack beat stick, can't be destroyed while it has Xyz material and inflicts 500 damage every time your opponent activates an effect, so you can burn them to death quite quickly, and so he's probably the rank 7 I go to most. Felgrand, good rank 8, I have the ability to make rank 8s, so sometimes I make him over Kali Yuga, but not often. And then Slacker Magician, in case I need to make a rank 1 with the Kepler and say a Necro Slime, and it walls up behind it, and you can hide behind it for a little bit while you set up. But yeah, finally, side deck stuff. We can side both virus, so Deck Devastation Virus and Eradicator Epidemic Virus. Deck Devastation Virus is really good against things like Magispectors or Gear. It just ruins them, and if you get it off quickly you win. So we side them because they're not useful against all decks, but they're pretty good. Eradicator, like a Heavy Storm, and gets rid of spells and traps. So if your opponent's running, say, spellbooks, this wins against it. If your opponent's using a back row heavy deck, you can call traps and get rid of all their protection. But again, not good against every deck, so we side it. And then Wavering Eyes, if your opponent is running in a Pendulum deck, you can destroy their scales and get a Kepler Search, which is fantastic. Why would you not side it against them? Because you can just turn the game around instantly. So yeah, this is a quick overview of the deck. I hope you guys enjoy this, and if you did, please like, favourite, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later.